morning, everyone. Today we will be discussing the fascinating and diverse adaptations of aquatic plants that allow them to thrive in water environments. So these plants face unique challenges from fluctuating water levels to the need for efficient nutrient absorption and light capture. So over time, they have evolved a variety of morphological features that help them survive and reproduce successfully in aquatic habitats. So today, we will be focusing on three key areas of morphology of aquatic plants. These are the root structures and anchoring mechanism, leaf adaptations for buoyancy and light capture, and the stem modification for support and flexibility in aquatic currents. So when we say morphology, it is a branch of biology that deals with the form and structures of plants. So aquatic plants, also known as hydrophytes, exhibit a variety of morphological adaptations that enable them to survive and thrive in water environments. So these adaptations are crucial for their growth, reproduction, and overall ecological success, allowing them to efficiently navigate the challenges posed by their habitats. So first, we will tackle about the root structures and anchoring mechanism. So when we say the root structures, so unlike terrestrial plants, terrestrial plants are those plants that can only survive on land. But when we say aquatic plants, are those plants that can survive in water environments. So unlike terrestrial plants, many aquatic plants have reduced or simplified root system. In land plants, roots typically serve two main functions: anchorage and nutrients absorption. However, in aquatic plants, the roots are often specialized primarily for anchoring rather than for nutrient absorption. For example, we have Elodea canadensis, or the Canadian waterweed. It is a common submerged aquatic plant. Its root system is minimal, primarily helping to anchor the plant to the substrate at the bottom of the water. On the other hand, some plants like Vallisneria americana, or we called water celery, a submerged aquatic grass, have more developed root system that firmly anchor or for stronger anchorage to the muddy or sandy bottom of water bodies, especially in flowing waters. So the primary rules of roots in aquatic plants is for stability, so securing them to be substrate so they don't flow away in currents or waves. So that's the function of root structures. So for the mechanism or anchoring mechanism, so many aquatic plants use specialized structures for anchoring, such as rhizomes. It is in horizontal underground stems that spread out from the main plant body. For example, we have Phragmites australis, or the common reed. So it is a plant that uses rhizomes to stabilize itself, allowing it to spread over a larger area and firmly anchor itself in wetland environments. So additionally, some plants develop adventitious or damo nga roots like Sagittaria or arrowhead, or we called it water lily, which grow along their stems and penetrate the substrate to provide further anchorage, particularly in areas with shifting sediments. These anchoring adaptations are vital in preventing uprooting by water currents and wave action, so para hindi sila magabot. This method is advantageous in environments where the soil or sediment is unstable or constantly shifting. So that is the function of anchoring mechanism of aquatic plants. So now let's proceed to the leaf adaptation for buoyancy and light capture. So when we say buoyancy, that is in Hiligaynon, nagalutaw siya, or in Tagalog, lumulutang. So it is a key feature of many aquatic plants in the modification of their leaves to ensure buoyancy, helping them to stay afloat and maximize exposure to sunlight. So for example, we have here the leaves of the water lily, or the Nempia. Water lily are broad and flat, floating on the water surface. So these leaves are supported by air-filled tissues. So ang leaves ng water lily supported by air-filled tissues which help them stay buoyant. This adaptation allows the plant to position its leaf in an optimal position for capturing sunlight, which is critical for photosynthesis. So that is for the leaf adaptation for buoyancy. So by floating on the surface, these plants avoid competition for light in deeper, submerged regions of the water column. So that's why there are aquatic plants who are floating because of the buoyancy in their leaves. Okay, now let's go to the light capture. So it is the ability to capture light as a key factor in the survival of aquatic plants, as sunlight penetration decreases with depth. So floating leaves like those of Nempia or water lily have a waxy cuticle on their surface. So waxy cuticle ang surface ng water lily, which prevents water from soaking into the leaf and helps them resist decay. So para hindi madunot, malaya ang aton nga dahon sa water lily. So this allows the plant to maintain its structures and function at the surface. So for submerged plants, the situation is more complex. So like Ceratophyllum or hornwort, the leaves are often finely dissected or feathery. So mabulbul siya, damo siya sa bulbul sa gwa. So this increases the surface area of the leaves, allowing them to capture as much light as possible, even in low light condition. So submerged leaves such as those of Myriophyllum or water milfoil are finely divided and feathery, maximizing surface area for light absorption. So this increased surface area helps photosynthesis na take place in the deeper of the water where light levels are significantly lower. So that is the purpose of some leaves of aquatic plant, for the light capture. Now let's go to the stem modification for support and flexibility in currents. So for support structures, in aquatic environments, plants must contend with the constant motion of water. So strong currents can pose a threat to plant survival. That's why aquatic plants have evolved flexible stems that allow them to bend and sway with the water's movement rather than break under pressure. So they follow the waves, they follow the currents because they are flexible. So for example, we have the eelgrass, o ang ginatawag natin nga Zostera marina or lucei. So a submerged plant that has a ribbon-like stems that are incredibly flexible. So this allows the plant to sway in the current, reducing the stress on the plant structure and preventing it from being uprooted or damaged by strong water flow. Now, since tapos na kita sa support structure, we will go to the modification for buoyancy and upright growth. So, some aquatic plants have stems with internal air spaces or hollow structures that help them stay buoyant and reduce their weight, making it easier for them to remain upright in the water column. So, we have an excellent example, or the common one is the Hydralia verticulate or digman. Tawag din sa aton digman. So it is a submerged plant with buoyant stem structures, and these air-filled spaces not only help the plant maintain an upright position but also to optimize its exposure to light. So actually there are a lot of additional. So here are the four example of aquatic plants adaptation. First is the floating plants. So we have here the floating plants. Example, Salvinia and Eichhornia crassipes or water hyacinths are example of free-floating aquatic plants. They have specialized air-filled vesicles that provide buoyancy, allowing them to float on the water's surface. Their leaves are often thick and waxy to prevent water absorption and decay. So always remember that their leaves are thick and waxy to prevent water absorption and decay. So the lighter structure of these stems means that the plant can grow tall and remain upright in deeper waters, where it is still able to capture sunlight for photosynthesis. Next example is emergent plants. Emergent plants. So these are species like Taifa cattail or the Scoenoplectus or the bulrush, grow in shallow water and have stems that rise above the water surface. Their leaves are adapted to capture sunlight, while their root systems anchor them in the substrate. So when we say substrate, it's the floor of the soil or something, the deep part of the soil, allowing them to thrive in wetlands environments. The third additional example is the submerged plants. So example here is the Kabomba and Potamogeton species. So have finely dissected leaves that increase the surface area for light absorption. So these adaptations are essential for survival in deeper waters where light penetration is limited. So that is submerged plant. And the last one is the adaptation to salinity. So some aquatic plants like Salicornia or what we call grasswort have specialized cells that allow them to thrive in saline environments such as salt, marshes, and these adaptations help manage osmotic stress and enable them to survive in challenging conditions. So for the conclusion of this discussion, so the morphology of aquatic plants is a remarkable example of evolutionary adaptation. So when we say systematic, there is an evolution and wherein plants have development or develop specialized structures to meet the challenges of their watery environments. So to summary, root structures are designed primarily for anchorage rather than nutrient uptake. It helps the plant to stay rooted in often shifting substrate. Okay, that is the function or the primary function of root structure for anchorage. Next is for the leaf adaptations. So ensure optimal buoyancy and efficient light capture, enabling plants to photosynthesize in various aquatic conditions. So for the leaf adaptation, the main purpose is for photosynthesis process and for the optimal buoyancy and efficient light capture. For the stem modifications, the purpose is to provide the flexibility and support necessary to withstand the forces of water currents, ensuring the plants remains upright and intact. So together, these features enable aquatic plants to thrive in diverse aquatic habitats, from still ponds to flowing waters. These plants play critical roles and pivotal roles in aquatic ecosystems, so contributing to oxygen production, providing habitats for aquatic organisms, and helping to stabilize sediments and water bodies. As we can see, aquatic plants exemplify the intricate balance of survival and reproductive success in submerged or partially submerged environments. So, this is all for the morphology of aquatic plants. I hope you learned a lot and thank you for your attention. I hope this lecture has provided you with a deeper appreciation of the fascinating adaptations of aquatic plants. Once again, we are the Group 1 and have a good day.